In this video, we are going to do a report tutorial on a year-over-year analysis and getting year-to-date numbers for the last few years. In this example, I am just doing a simple opportunities report, but you can take these methods and apply it to other types of reports if you're looking at leads created, transactions, or anything like that. So the very first thing you can see what we have right here is simply just close one sales for the last 3 years. And right now we're just summing the amount, and we're looking at, which year, what is the amount. And the downfall of what these numbers don't provide is a true apples to apples comparison, because today is August 2nd of 2025. So what we typically would want to see is, okay, what is the year to date numbers from 2023 and 2024? Like, how does our sales of $2,010 for year to date in 2025 compared to where we are at this time in 2024 or this time in 2023? So what we are going to do is add in a row level formula to first extract that number. And then we'll apply some summary formulas to really calculate the differences. So I'm going to go to columns, and we're going to add in a row level formula. I'm going to simply call this just year to date. Oop, helps if I click in the right spot. Year to date amount, because the amount is what I am summing here. And then what I would recommend is adding in a description. So that way, if you're looking at this in 6 months or you have a teammate looking at this, they can understand what this is pulling. I'm going to leave this as a number with 2 decimal points. And the way we're going to do this is a simple if formula. So I'm going to say if, and we're going to start off with, we're going to say the year of, and I'm going to go off of the close date. So this would be whatever fields that you're calculating. Maybe you need to go off of a created date of a transaction to measure cash, or a created date of a lead, or something along those lines. You would make sure that you're pulling that field. So I'm saying if the year of the close date equals 2023 and the month, and I'm going to do parentheses here and press enter, that way it makes it clean, and the month of the close date is less than the month of today. And then I'm going to do or, because if the month is less than today, then we want that amount for sure. The next thing that we're calculating is the month of the close date is then less than or equal to the month of today. Helps if I spell correctly. And this is where we want to make sure that the day of the month matches today. So then we're going to say, and the day of the close date is less than or equal to the day of today. And I'm going to do a comma. And if that all is true, then I want the amount. So if that's true, then I want the amount. Now, typically, if that was your only if, then you would put the other condition like 0. Like if that's not true, then just display 0. But because we need to also check for 2024 and 2025, we're going to do another if formula. So we're going to do the exact same thing. If the year, and again, you can always just fast forward through this video if you don't want to watch me do each of the years. So if the year of the close date is equal to 2024 and the year of the close date is less than the year of today. Wait, no, sorry. Not year, we want the month. My goodness. Don't do that. Okay, so the month of the close date, it's like that doesn't seem right. Month of the close date is less than the month of today, or, and that's what those little symbols mean, the month of the close date is less than or equal to the month, why do I keep saying Monday? Month of today, and we want the day of the close date to be less than or equal to the day of today, then we want to display the amount. And then I'm going to do my last one, which is, oh wait, 1 second. I need a comma or a parenthesis there. And then I need a parenthesis there. And there we go. And it'll tell me if I messed up with those parentheses. And then we're going to do the last one, which is if, and we're going to say the year again of the close date. Whoops, not close. I need close date equals 2025, and the month of the close date is less than the month, of today, or the month of the close date. Why didn't that go? Close date less than or equal to the month of today, and the day of the close date is less than or equal to the day of today. Okay, and then parenthesis, then we want the amount, and then this should just give us 0, and then we should have 3. I have a feeling this is going to give us an error. I have an extra parenthesis. I think it's that one. Nope, I threw in an extra. Okay, so I realized I had added the parenthesis here and forgot it right here. So, okay, so far this is showing as valid. I'm going to go ahead and click apply, and then I'm going to show you where this, I'm going to go ahead and do save and run. If you're ever unsure, you can always just run it and then save it later, but just because I want to make sure I have it. Okay, so you can see how there's a difference in the number. The sum of amount for 2023 is just 2748, but the year-to-date amount, meaning the opportunities that have been closed either on August 2nd or earlier in the year, is 1146. So now you're probably wondering, okay, that helps us see year-to-date overall. Now what I want to see is by month. So what we did, I have another video on this, is we added a custom formula field on the opportunity object to only extract the month. And the reason for that is because if you look at close month, what that's going to show you is you see how it's just basically the month and the year. So that way all of these are going to be separate, meaning if you try to throw this in a line chart and you do fiscal year with close month by the year, you're going to get 3 separate graphs all in here. What you want is these to all intersect so that way you can see what these actually mean. So we're going to add month, close date month, and I can take that one out. So that way, let me edit my line chart here, as I want to that, and then I want to group it by the year. So now you can see, okay, you can see how they all intersect. You can see how, and I'm going off of the amount right now. So that is why you are seeing these totals for the end of 2023 and 2024. You could change this to only show, okay, I just want to show the year-to-date amount, and then you're only going to see, you notice how you're only going to see year-to-date values. So I did not create an actually, let me go ahead and run this because this is in preview mode. Okay, yeah, so I only created an opportunity. I had to manually create these, so I only created an opportunity up until March of this year, so that's why you're seeing the green stop in March, and then that's why you're seeing, why is that still showing? That's why you're seeing an opportunity closed for 2024. There. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. So now that we have our year-to-date totals, is you can see, okay, year-to-date for 2023, we were at 1146. For 2024, 3096, and then 2010, because that's just year-to-date of this year. Another data point that you're probably going to get asked for is, okay, at a really high level, we want to see what's the dollar amount. I don't want to have to manually calculate. I want to be able to see at a high level, are we in the green or are we in the red? What does that mean? So this is where we're going to add in a summary formula. So we're going to go back to edit, and we're going to do a summary formula. And this one I'm going to call year over year. I do Y over Y, dollar amount. And again, this is where it's helpful to write a description that year over year. And you can say dollar amount and whatever context you think you need to add. Again, think about someone else reading this. They should be able to make sense of what this means. So I'm going to keep this. I'm going to actually shift this over to currency. And then we are going to do the we're going to do a formula here. So I'm going to do the amount, and I'm going to take that sum, and I'm going to subtract, and then I'm going to do the prev group val, where the summary field is going to be the amount. The grouping level is going to be the, it's what we're subtracting, and that's going to be the close date month. Let me see, let me type in month. Okay, so it would be this one here, the grouping. And then we're going to put a 1 here. Okay, that's the formula. Now what you need to do is do the selected groups, because otherwise this is not going to work. We're going to do fiscal year, and then we're going to do close date for the month. And now I'm going to click validate. And now when I apply this, we can see at a high level. Oh, nope. Actually, I did it backwards. Sorry, I steered you wrong. Because that is now going to subtract this horizontally, and we want this to subtract vertically. Because what we want to subtract, because we have it grouped this way, we're 2023, 2024, and 2025 are the rows, and then the columns are the month. We need to do it backwards. So I actually need to do year right here. Fiscal year. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Okay, so your red flag would be this first row should have nothing in it for the summary because there's no row above it to subtract. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save and run this. And then you'll just spot check it. And you can see, okay, 876 minus 123 is that we're above by $753. Versus year to date, we're at 456 minus 876. Okay, we're down by 420. So now another data point they might want, your leadership might want to be able to see at a high level is, okay, what's the percentage difference here? So to calculate the percentage difference, we're going to add another summary formula. And this time I am going to call this year over year percent difference. And again, make sure you give it a description. The formula output type, we're going to do percent. You can leave 2 decimal points. And then I'm going to do a parenthesis here. And we're going to do, we need the last year's number. So I'm going to do the amount minus the prev group val, like what we have before, which is the amount. And then we have it grouped by the year. We need the fiscal year. And then we have an increment of 1. Okay, so we have that. Now we're going to divide it by the current or by the previous year. So then we're going to do prev group val again. We're going to do the amount. And again, we're going to do this fiscal year. And then increment of 1. And then same thing, you're going to do your selected groups, fiscal year, and the close date month. It says valid, we're going to do apply, and then we're going to save and run. And you could just, I mean, very easily take out a calculator and check this, but I checked it earlier. You would do this number minus this number divided by this number, which here we're up 612%. And then for 2025 in January, we were down by just about 48%. Um, okay, so hopefully this helps. This is something. Let's see, and then you could add it. I actually can't remember if I saved it, so I'm gonna go ahead and press save. So again, what this is gonna show you at a really high level is year-to-date numbers. So that way you're looking apples to apples, and you can see, okay, year to date, that would be in this row right in here, what these numbers are, and then you have your summary formulas where you can easily see year, and you can put this all on a dashboard, so that way you could do a bar graph and say, okay, um, what is the amount that we are over or below, and you can just display this data in so many different ways just off of this one report. So hopefully that is helpful, and if you have any questions on here, um, just leave a comment.